Okay, guys, we are live and we are back. Back with a bang. Ivan might pop in. I don't know. He might. If he does, he'll pop in. But Keith's with us anyway, as usual. At Eaton Ryan on Twitter. Keith, though, it's almost Christmas. Liverpool are back. The World Cup's over. Ready to roll, baby.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to have the lads back, isn't it?
Oh, it's
Although I suppose as far as World Cup could go in the middle of the season in December, it wasn't too bad. To be honest with you, it wasn't too bad at all. So it did scratch the itch, I suppose, didn't it? When you look at it, to be honest with you. But yeah, listen, it's all about now. It's all about getting the lads back in now, isn't it? It's all about second half of the season.
I mean, tomorrow night, Etihad, it's City, Liverpool, Caraboacup. We're the holders, of course, and we're getting them at a good time. I think they've only got 11 or 12 senior players available, but we have a lot of injuries as well. So to be fair, my eyes are really on this Villa game on Boxing Day. But tomorrow night, I just think it'll show us where we are, Keith. Just play the game, see what we can get out. If we can win and get into the next round, great. If we lose, it's not the end of the bleeding world, really, is it?
No, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's almost like, I suppose, for both sides, it's almost like a free shot, and it's probably going to be looked upon as being a bit of a training game, to be honest with you, as opposed to anything. There's nothing really on it. It'll be what it'll be. Be interesting to see what way we set up. Be interesting to see, what mix he will mix. I don't think he will go as youth centric as he has done in the past. I think he'd probably mix it up. I think he'd be wanting to try and get some degree of continuity going with whoever he thinks is going to be there for the Villa match, because it's only 4 days. What is it? 4 days later, So, so I can't see him going just all youth. To be honest with you, I think it'll be a mix. I think it'll be a mix of players, but stronger than you would normally associate.
League Cup.
A League Cup, particularly at this stage of the League Cup. I think
it's the Etihad. I mean, if you go really weak there, even with a weak in City side, it'll be a tough. You know what I mean? You've got to have some strength going there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although, listen, I think any other season, to be honest with you, he wouldn't have necessarily gone strong. Irrespective of where it was, I don't think he would have necessarily gone strong. I think he probably would have put a huge smattering of youth in the side. Based purely around the number of games that we have, but obviously we haven't had that. So there's a lot of lads, first team lads who've been knocking around, who could either do it a game or he could probably throw in. So I would say it's probably going to be a balanced side, to be honest with you. A mix of experience, lads wanting to play themselves back in, and then youth as well. But listen, even when you look at what happened in Dubai, the lads who are thereabouts from a youth perspective didn't do themselves any harm. And can certainly stand
up. That young lad Ben Doak,
yeah,
he looks a proper player, doesn't he? Only turned, I think he's only turned. Is it only turned 17 or 18? I don't forget his age. He's so young. Jesus Christ, this guy looks like
very exciting, isn't he? Very exciting,
That young guy, Piaticic or Stefan in midfield. He's actually Spanish under 21. He's a proper player.
He looks really tidy, to be honest with you. He looks really tidy on the ball. Haven't seen a huge amount from him from a kind of an attacking perspective, but certainly from a continuity, in terms of he kind of reminds you of almost but certainly from maybe more of an Alonso kind of player who can sit in and dictate and, keep the flow going, and, he doesn't lose possession, keeps it moving all the time. So, but it'd be interesting to see, where he actually fits in, because from our perspective, you're either almost a defensive-minded kind of, or you're playing in the front three. We don't seem to have a player who sits in the middle and dictates, So it'd be interesting to see what way he develops over the next couple of years.
No, and as I say, some really exciting. Even another one, Katie Gordon, who didn't make it, is another excitement. Look, here's Ivan. He's in the back. He's in the green room. He's in the green room, baby. Ivan Jennings in the house. Are you?
I made it.
Skin of your teeth.
What a month.
Liquid lunch.
Indeed.
Liquid lunch, baby.
Something like that.
Yeah, can you hear us, Ivan? Yeah, all good.
Can, yeah, perfect.
We're just talking about the City game tomorrow night, of course. It's going to be interesting with a load of players missing on both teams, injuries, fucking players coming back from World Cups and stuff like that. It is the League Cup. We are the holders. As I was saying to Keith earlier, for me, it's all about getting back to the top four. I mean, I'm not throwing everything out the window, but realistically, it's top four for me. We got to get into the Champions League. The League Cup, FA Cup, I don't know if they're distractions or not.
I think it's first game back, though.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go strong, and he's going to want to make a statement. He's had a lot of players there for the last couple of weeks training, so I don't think it's just a third round kind of tie, I know we got a game on Sunday, but I think he's going to want to have a go.
Yeah, I don't think he throws his principles completely out the door, to be honest with you. I think he will. I think he'll mix it. I think there will be a degree of, a good smattering of youth, but I think there will be some experience thrown into the mix as well, to be honest with you. Just purely. And just purely.
As you said, Keith, as he used to always do. I mean, we nearly got caught last year at Anfield against Leicester City, but we were losing 2-0, weren't we?
Yeah.
And we came back with that tacky Minamino goal in the last bleeding minute to get us back into it. And then, that's the way it is in these games. But realistically, lads, the big game then is Boxing Day. I think it's Monday. We play Aston Villa away. Unai Emery's. I mean, that's going to be a tough game straight after Christmas Turkey. That's going to be a really tough game. And I think the 3 points there are obviously more important. But as I've been saying, I suppose it's all about continuity. It's all about getting a bit of confidence. First game back after the World Cup. We've had friendlies against Lyon. We lost, and we beat AC Milan 4-1 the week on Friday. But listen, they're only friendlies. But I mean, it is all about confidence, getting a few goals. If you could beat City at the Etihad, no matter what team you put out, that's a bit of a confidence boost.
Yeah, I think City is going to put out a big team. Like it's we've been away for a month.
They have a lot of injuries, though. Ivan. I think you've only got 12
I know they do, but this is the first game back. The World Cup's gone. This is the first game back. It doesn't matter. It's Liverpool City. It's a big game. I know it's not going to be first 11 against first 11, but it's still a big game for me. I think both teams will be fairly strong.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying I want to lose. I want to win fucking tiddlywinks, a Monopoly game with Liverpool involved. But I'm just saying, first game back, big game like City, League Cup. We are the holders. Injuries and the mindset for Klopp is the big one for me tomorrow night. Whatever team he puts out, I think that's tells you his mindset, what his plans are. And obviously, we'll talk about it in a minute. But the bleeding transfer window is only in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, 10 days time it opens. I think we need to do business, lads. I really do. With Jota and Diaz out, huge blows. They're fucking huge blows. I mean, to get the Jota blow, which is February, and then on top of that, a few weeks later, Diaz out till fucking March. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, we don't seem to be linked, though, any attacking kind of players, to be honest with you. It's more, central mids seems to be the only kind of show in town from that perspective, and no guarantee we're going to bring anybody else in of any note in January. Is it just going to be pre-contract deals for the summer? I haven't seen us
talk about your man Amrabat, isn't it? The Moroccan midfielder guy.
Yeah, but again, he's a central midfielder. He's not an attacking midfielder.
Do you remember the last time we bought players after the World Cup?
What?
Do you remember the last time we bought players after the World Cup?
Yeah, the Senegalese.
There you go. So, I don't know. I'd love a 200 million spend of Bellingham, Hernandez. I think
Enzo Fernandez. Can't see two
for sure.
Amrabat,
I think he was brilliant, but he reminds me of something I do. I got a chance to go to the World Cup, and I'm gonna give it everything for 2 weeks, and I was I just pulled it out. I can't see him being a Premiership player. Really, in fairness, and I just wonder how much money we actually have to spend next month. I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, since we talked before the World Cup, we were talking about FSG looking to sell and stuff like that. The more we look into it, the more it's sort of calmed down. It looks to me like a partial sale or a 10-15% sale, something like what they did with Redbird Capital, just to get investment in so they can spend it in January and in the window. That's what it looks like, guys, for me. It doesn't look like a full sale, does it?
And I think that's fine, though, Keith. I'm not sure what you think. The bottom line is we need a lot of money to buy expensive players to compete with Man City. That's it. Whether that's partial sale, half sale, full sale, don't really care. And I actually don't mind what it means. And in fairness, I'd actually prefer a partial sale if it meant that we held on to these guys, because I think their integrity is quite good. If we go full on and sell to a Qatari or Saudi, we're then in the mix with all those people. And as Liverpool fans, that doesn't sit right with us, right? Now, we want to be the best, and we want the best players. And I know if we have to compete with them, sometimes you have to kind of sell your soul. I prefer not to have to sell my soul and hold on to some kind of core principles if that's possible, and adhere to the model that we've been using as much as we can, if that's possible.
I think it's getting
I
harder.
don't know if we can. I know
I think
it
it's
is.
getting harder, Keith. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
That
To be
type
honest
of
with
thing.
you,
I think it's very
do.
hard.
In terms of a sale, like that last Redboard Capital kind of investment was across the group. It was an FSG investment. It wasn't a Navfield. It wasn't a Liverpool investment. So very little or none of that filtered down through. To be honest with you, they are looking to invest elsewhere. It looks like with a basketball side. So, and again, how does that dilute? In terms of not only focus, but in terms of how much money they've got to spend across pan group. Because I'm sure somebody somewhere looks at it from a group perspective. They don't just look at, yes, they look at Liverpool in isolation, and they look at, they look at the Red Sox in isolation as well. But somebody somewhere looks at it from a group perspective, and looks about the investment from a group perspective. And there seems to be a huge amount there seems to be more chit chat around the place of more sale than just 10 to 15% from what I can see. But then again, I don't think we're too further along than the last time we chatted, lads, to be honest with you. You can see somebody popping up. The same consortiums are popping up for United, are popping up. So there's a huge amount of guesswork going out there. And I don't think there's anything. I don't even think anyone's got to the stage where it's due diligence at any stage. It's still just, it's window dressing. It's kind of a beauty pageant kind of show at this stage with anything concrete. However, I'd say what they probably know is how much money they can get, right? And whether that's 3.5 or 4 billion or whatever else it is. And if any of these players, whether it's, Fernandes or whether it's Bellingham, come on the table, that level of investment, like both of them could be 200 million. Like that level of investment is not coming through from FSG. It's not coming through. So that would scream to me that, the lads are pretty much know how much is coming through, and they're just going through a process to get themselves sold. I think, what pre-contracts are done in January would probably tell us a huge amount in terms of what's happening going forward. Massive pre-contracts, and I think we have to say, listen, for fuck's sake, lads, they've never invested that amount. They've never invested that amount of money in us,
I can't see anything huge happening in January, no matter what bleeding happens, because...
Listen, I think if you want either or both of those players, you have to do the business in January. If you allow that to go to the summer, you're fucked.
Agree. Totally agree.
So you think Bellingham?
Let's say
Bellingham
if it's
not done in January,
we don't get him in January, he's gone.
Forget about it.
He's gone. Totally agree.
What if you do a pre-contract agreement?
No. Madrid will. Yeah, Madrid will just plant him up.
No pre-contract or nothing. I forget about it.
Yeah, but I don't actually see him coming in the door in January. Do you?
No.
In AXA. Oh, sorry, that's what I thought what you fucking meant.
No. I just meant for both of those players. It's for both of those players, and I think for one or both of them to happen, I think it's because either, it's a 40-50% investment with somebody who's saying, I'm going to invest that now, but pretty much we're taking over the club at some stage, or it's a full takeover. They've no track record of investing that amount of money in the side. I can understand an investment of that amount of money in Bellingham when you look at his age profile, and if they were in for the long haul, I think they could probably say, well, do you know what? We can buy him for 100 now. And in 4 years, if he keeps going the way he's going, he's a 200 million player, the way it's going at the moment. And I can see that all day long. That's an investment piece, right? But it has to be done January.
Yeah, no, and I think, like we talked about this a few times, I think we could get him in January. And I mean, not a pre-contract, I mean, land him in January. Because I think that's the most realistic thing. It's gone on for so long. Klopp has mentioned it. He's an incredible footballer. I'd be hopeful. We need to land somebody in January and not a pre-contract. We need to land somebody.
We need catalyst, lads. We need a fucking fresh blood in the team, and good fresh blood. No Arthur Mellos or bleeding Kabaks or Ben Davies. Proper players that can start in 11.
Yeah.
Because
great.
I mean, we're in a bit of a weird situation. It's unusual. A few days before Christmas, and usually Liverpool are right up there. We're either top of the league or we're a point or two off, and we're fighting on all fronts, ready to roll. We're a bit behind, and we can't really afford to start now this second half of the season. It's like starting a new season nearly. I know we've been saying like a pun, but it's basically like the start of the season, and we've got to string games together, guys.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be hanging transfers on it. Like all that I've read and I've seen, and the players talking about the way they've been training and going back to basics and the high press and all that kind of stuff. Robertson talking about getting back to how we used to play. We've all the players back that we had. I know we're missing Jota and Diaz, Nunes there. Players coming back in. Salah was rested. There's a lot to be said. There's nothing negative there, I don't think. Albeit we're missing one or two fellas, but I'm positive for tomorrow, and I'm positive for Sunday.
But all it takes is 2 bad results or so, and that's gone out the fucking window. The whole lot of it's gone out.
Just think about this. Just think about this, right? FSG are obviously still the owners. Whether they're there next year or not, or it's a partial sale or a full sale, we don't know. Anything could happen. But I think the reason they have to invest in January is invest to protect. They have to protect the fucking Liverpool, the club, that if they want to sell it in the summer, you want to be in the Champions League selling it, not in the fucking Europa League.
Yeah, great. Totally agree.
So I think you've got to invest, and a decent investment to say, right, we're going for this top 4 spot here, lads, because if we sell, we could lose 10% the value of the club. I mean, if it's worth 3.5 billion, you could lose 350 million for not spending 100 million in January. You know what I mean?
But if you look at the value, right? Let's just say, right, Klopp has said, right, it's Fernandes or it's Bellingham, right? They're the 2 players he wants, and it's 100 million for one, it's 100 million for other, right? If you want them in January, it's 150 fucking million, it's 150 fucking million, right? Now we know, that they're prepared to play the long game, and they're happy enough to let it go till the summer, and they've always shown that. So if that's the case, you're looking at plan B coming in January. So, and who is plan B?
I think top 4 keeps trumps.
Is the lad from Brighton, or is it, the lad from, the Moroccan lad? So,
I think top 4 is the other thing.
I think you're looking at a huge amount of money to bring in one of those, and we're not going to do both of those in January. Yeah. And I don't know whether we have the stomach for it.
Yeah.
So
I think when we were looking back to the summer and we were going for Tchouaméni and he was 80 million, and we were going to go for that, and then we were also going for Nunes. So the money was there. I think one of them is realistic, and I think one of them has to land in January. It really does, because protecting top 4, that's a priority. This isn't a 3-year plan. Like, we have an immediate target of getting top 4, or all bets are off. Like, the plans are out the window, and we don't know.
Yeah.
The question is, would Dortmund sell in January?
I think they possibly could. I think at a premium. You're dead right, Keith. And I think, anything that I've seen on the internet, the relationship that Klopp has with them, it's incredible. The Germans are kind of different. They're really kind of
Klopp has a close relationship.
They're ordinary people. Yeah, really, really good relationship there. And I think if they come to an agreement, that could happen. I think and I think all that I'm hearing from Bellingham's camp and his parents and him is, he seems like a normal guy.
Yeah.
There's business there. He wants the best outcome. He wants to be the best player he can be. Money isn't the outcome. So it sounds all, like if it was to play out, it should play out properly, but who knows?
And he's good friends with Henderson and Trent. Agent Trent and Henderson at the fucking World Cup. Every photograph, the 2 of them are fucking on top of each other.
But that's what you do. That's what you do, If you're trying to hire somebody into the club, you use your network and you put your arm around somebody and go, listen, it's great here. Think of what you can do,
Egyptian King had an idea. We sign him in January and loan him back. We fucking need him in January. That's the problem. We need bleeding
there's
players.
No loaning back. Yeah, there's no loaning back.
I think, you sign him. That's fucking it. That's the problem. We're in a bit of a sticky situation. We don't only need a midfielder, which we needed last summer. We might need a forward-thinking player for the fact that Jota and Diaz, they're such bad injuries that even if they come back, lads, they could break down quickly after it and be gone for the rest of the fucking season. Then you're bollocks. So it's a bit of a catch-22. It's a stick or twist situation for FSG in January. I'm sure he thought about it. Because the games, lads, are coming thick. There's going to be a game every, 3 or 4 days? Basically till fucking May, if we stay in the competitions. It's going to be crazy.
I've missed it so much. I cannot wait.
Ivan wasn't really interested in the football in the World Cup, though, right?
No.
You weren't the World Cup man.
Nah. So I watched England France was probably the first game that I really got involved in, and the final was amazing. But to me, just I was talking to somebody the other night, and I was talking about football, and Keith, you're a coach as well, and why I went back to coaching very young children, right? And it's about I know something, and I want to impart it on you, and this is what football is actually about, right? And then you look at the bullshit that's going on TV, and it's not right. And when you move it even into kind of junior football and senior football, it's so bad.
To be honest, Ivan, I can't see it changing any time.
No,
There's so much
I can't.
money involved. It's
I
only
can't
going to
see
get
it
worse.
either.
It's going to get worse.
It is, and listen, don't get me wrong. Listen, I love Liverpool, and I love going to Liverpool, and I love being in the city. I love being in the ground, love watching the games. But fundamentally, the game is broken, and for me, the joy that I get out of the game is coaching 4 and 5 year old kids who have never seen a football in their lives and just want to understand what it's about. And the World Cup was just the complete opposite of that, and I wasn't interested. Sorry.
Yeah. Keith, you watched a bit of it?
I watched a bit of it when I could, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, no. Listen, I hear everything Ivan has said. To be honest with you, and it's particularly that World Cup. To be honest with you, it's rotten to the core. So
FIFA rotten to the core, fuck's sake.
Yeah, but listen, because in terms of some of the football and some of the matches, now I did enjoy it. It was a nice distraction not having other football, but that's pretty much what it was. There was very little investment from my perspective in the whole spectacle, but I could sit down and watch a couple of matches and kind of go, yeah, decent enough game of football. But that's as far as it got. There was very little emotional investment. Listen, as Irish supporters, it's going to be a long fucking time before we have any emotional investment in a World Cup. To be honest with you, we need to take a look at that. There's probably a pod for another day, to be honest with you. But I enjoyed the final, enjoyed the England-France match. I enjoyed the Moroccans. I enjoyed watching them, to be honest with you.
The underdogs are very good in this tournament.
Yeah. Enjoyed watching them, to be honest with you. They were quite a defensive lineup, but but when they did get a chance to play, they played, and we're happy enough. We're brave on the ball, took the ball in, better press and turned and
didn't concede a goal.
Yeah, and
that's incredible.
With a decent striker, I think that they could have done a lot more damage.
He's back. Paying his Wi-Fi bill. Is that me or you?
It's Keith.
Are you Keith? Just Keith? Are you okay? Keith, I'll remove him and bring him back, will I? I'll bring him back. There, now he's back.
Yeah, don't know.
Glitch, FSG, we're listening to you. The agents for the World Cup, your man Genie Infantino is listening to you.
Christmas glitch.
And that other thing he came out with, talk about bullshit. The 32 Club World Cup, which basically to me is a Super League. It's a fucking Super League every 3 years. Part 2.
Yeah.
I can only see it ever going that way. I really can. They want the creme de la creme, 20, 30 teams playing against each other a few times a year, just literally for the TV rights alone.
No, but I think this is where the normal kind of supporters need to come out, and this is where like we're followers of the greatest club in the world for this kind of thing, where your man talks about, today I am gay, today I am black, shut the fuck up. You're not right.
Today he's an idiot.
Today you're a fucking idiot. Exactly. Come back to fucking basics. This isn't about this bullshit. This isn't about being diverse because you're not being diverse. It's not being multiracial because you're not being You're actually doing all of the things that you shouldn't be doing, right? And you shouldn't be having a World Cup in Qatar, and it shouldn't be in South Africa, and it shouldn't be in Russia, and it possibly shouldn't be in America. Go back to basics here. What are you actually trying to achieve? And if there were real principles, and I know it's easy to sit here and say it, and you've the likes of Roy Keane and Gary Neville, who we watch every Sunday, and they talk about all the stuff being bad, and yet they still go over and talk about it. So how are you ever going to recover and come back? Because the worst thing you want is for something to stop and the World Cup not to go ahead. But how do you get it only to be in Ireland or Sweden or France or Brazil or
You don't.
you
That's the
can't.
problem. It's a
Exactly.
voting system, isn't it?
Exactly.
It is, and listen, and they're just continuously just changing and fucking around and cannibalizing themselves like that. Like all that kind of club World Cup will diminish the World Cup itself, and that's all that does. Because you see already a diminishing, of the European game. So in terms of an international side, like realistically, it's the World Cup and the Euros, and. The rest of that stuff that's going on around the place is I just think diminishes the whole thing and diminishes the whole spectacle, because you're kind of going, well, it's another fucking international match. Like it does take.
It's not evolution, Keith. You know what I mean? Like things should improve, and you look at technology coming into the game and other things. Like the weirdest thing I saw at the weekend was when Messi got that kind of cloak put over him. I was kind of going, is that a cultural thing or
it was cultural? It was cultural, yeah. James Pearce got in trouble for tweeting something on that, by the way.
That to me, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I was just disappointed he didn't go invisible, to be honest with you, when that went
on. But what was the purpose of that? Is that it's obviously some sort of religious thing where you are successful or you've won something. I just kind of went, that's not right.
It's so far removed from jumpers for goalposts. That game is supposed to be jumpers for goalposts. You throw down a couple of jumpers and you play football, and then you look at this, it's just so far removed from grassroots, so far removed. So
yeah. No, that
I also think,
like, you know what I mean? That's just fucking, and it's
even,
only getting worse.
The
it's not getting any better.
Yeah, the Liverpool games in Dubai last week, where they're playing penalty shootouts for points.
That was the system. Yeah. They're going to bring that in as well. You get 1 point for a penalty shootout win. You get 3 points for a win. So you can get 4 points if you win the penalty shootout and win the fucking game.
So, like, they're the kind of fundamentals of 3 o'clock on a Saturday, 22 men on a pitch. We all know what we're doing. That's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Crazy. No, it's all money. The problem is money corrupts, absolutely. When you bring money in, and I'm talking billions, big money, like this Qatar World Cup cost 220 billion. Now that wasn't the stadium; that was everything. They basically
you're right.
built the whole country again.
It is money, and unfortunately, it's kind of somebody. And I'm not being racist saying this. It's somebody in Qatar or Saudi Arabia rocking up to some senior official in FIFA, going, "If you did this, there's an envelope. Can you sort that out?" And that's it.
Yeah.
And that is.
That was the thing. That was the FIFA in 2010. I think the voting, how they got the 14 votes. That was the big trial thing, wasn't it? That was the big thing.
Listen, when you look at it, there was consecutive World Cup spots.
Russia was as dodgy, wasn't it? Let's be real. I'm sure there was other ones, Keith, going back.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Even the Argentina one in 78. Colombia should have got it in 78. But Colombia, there was a civil war, there was issues. So they had to switch it within, I think it was only a year. Argentina got it, and your man Pinochet was like a dictator going around killing people, and he was fucking, you know what I mean?
But I think, Dave, like 1978 is 50 years ago, right? And you can excuse that because there was no media, no social media. Yeah. Now it's literally there in front of you, and they're going, "We want this. This is how bad we are," and it's okay. It's there in your face, and we're still saying yes. And I mean that the collective
as Mark
of us,
is saying there you go.
Yeah,
grassroots Sunday League football is dead. Basically, it's not dying. I think it's dead. It's basically dead. Whether it gets resuscitated or not is the fucking question. But no, there is.
It's been dead in Ireland for 20 years, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? So,
well, there you go. I mean, they tried to revive the League of Ireland, and they've done a fairly good job. I heard the turnstiles were up this year. That could have been something to do with COVID, people coming back, not being able to do fuck all for 2 years. You know what I mean? That could have been. I say I'd be more interested to see what the attendances are next season. You know what I mean? I think they were up 23%, something like that in the League of Ireland. But
no, probably a conversation for another time. But when you just look at the the lack of, like there's still a huge amount of Irish kids playing, schoolboy football across the country, and there's very few of them making it across to the top sides.
See, they're dipping in now. They're going to Portugal.
They're going elsewhere. Yeah.
They're going to fucking Germany, Poland, everywhere now.
Yeah.
So
They're going to Africa, where there are children who can't even eat, and they're being promised a life. And we've got our kids who are
South America as well.
Exactly. So the incentive to an African child, and this is not racist, the incentive to an African child to make it, to save a family or a village or whatever, compared to a child living in Malahide or Clonsilla or fucking wherever, no brainer. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
It's all money. That's what I keep saying to you. Money corrupts, absolutely. But we just before we go, tomorrow night, obviously, City. Are we going to win? Penalties?
Yeah, we're going to win.
Yeah, I feel good about it, to be honest with you. Listen, what I suppose what I really want is, like, sometimes these things, you know, rub of the grain, or, you know, just being away from home. I think I'd love to see a good performance going into the weekend, to be honest with you. As you said, Dave, you know, like, the most important thing for us now is top four. We need to start particularly now, next 4 or 5 games, a string of results, get ourselves back up there about 4th place. And then I think, to be honest with you, you know, we've probably got enough to get ourselves across the line in terms of 4th place. But the big thing is Villa on Stevens' day is get that right. Tomorrow is almost like it's a spectacle. It's a shot in the dark. It's something you probably sit down, have a beer, not be totally invested in, and enjoy it, to be honest with you, and enjoy the spectacle. You know, like, I suppose any other time of the year going there now, you wouldn't be at all optimistic. You know, you'd be looking to kind of say, listen, we'd be doing very well to come out with a point. With their injuries, with the amount of players that they've had off at the World Cup, you know, we should be going there, you know, certainly looking to try and do something. But look, I'm just more interested in maybe playing a few more of the senior lads and get a bit of rhythm going for Sunday. That's all I'd be really interested in, to be honest with you. If you can wait the results, it's a bonus. But it's not the end of the world.
Ivan, pretty much.
Totally the same. I just think buzzing to get back, and I think, you know, there's probably a few players like Firmino and Salah, 1 and 2 others, hopping to get back, and I think Haaland is probably hopping to get back in. Yeah. From a Man City perspective. So listen, this is a big game.
It's always a big game
in terms of clubs. Exactly. You know, reputations. I think there's a piece of silverware at stake tomorrow night, because I think whoever wins this one has a fairly good chance of doing something. We're the holders. So we're the holders. And listen to me, don't turn your nose down at this, right? I buzzed the day that we won this. That Sunday. Yeah. Absolutely buzzed. It's Chelsea, absolutely brilliant. I hope you win it. And I think there's players who can do it, you know. And it's a big game. But I think, to Keith's point, right?
Get Queeveen in goals and play for penalties.
Yeah, the priority is Sunday. There's no fucking two ways about it, right? We're 8 points off it, and we need to start scrapping away at that. And we need to be at the end of January, you know, in the top 4.
We need to be in the mix.
We need to be up there.
In the mix end of January.
But, and I think Keith talks about this as well last year, momentum. 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins. Don't care what competition's in. Just get them going. Let's start moving. And it's a big one in that regard.
Like Villa have had a huge amount of time to prepare for this match. You know, we're not a huge amount of players away on international duty. So, you know, they'll have a game plan. They'll be set up to play us in a certain kind of way, to be honest with you. So, you know, that's not a game we can take lightly. We have to be set up for it. We have to be on it. You know, we have to be firing on all cylinders. So, and if that's the case, you can probably see him going, you know, maybe 3/4 strong than he will tomorrow night. But, you know, like, it's not going to be easy, I feel it. It's not going to be easy at all, to be honest with you, you know.
Yeah. I just think a good game tomorrow night. No more injuries. No more injuries, please. Thanks. And we can roll into Boxing Day. It's Monday, guys. Monday's Boxing Day for the game.
It's St. Stephen's Day, Dave.
Stephen's Day. Sorry. No, I'm not getting into a political storm. I might actually go out to watch it, actually. That'd be a good show, wouldn't it? That'd be a good game to watch. Liverpool Villa. I'm not sure the kickoff time, but on Monday.
8 o'clock.
Enjoy your Christmas. Thanks for coming on. Enjoy
no problem. Happy Christmas to everybody. Anybody who's joined there now, Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great chatting with you all. Have a fantastic Christmas. I'm sure we'll be on chatting before the end of the new year.
There will be. There'll be another 1 or 2 before the end of the new year, guys. Enjoy your Christmas. Stay safe. Liverpool to get past City tomorrow night. That's what we want. And then get going, because it's going to be crazy. It's going to be fucking mad. hit the like, hit the share, show us your love, give us a sub. Okay,
Happy
guys.
Christmas, everyone.
Keith, Ivan, happy Crimbo, guys, in the chat.
Merry Christmas.
Cheers. You'll never walk alone.